Skies all open wide, geese go high and over. Oh, now you're a beachcomber, a fistful of sandfire, sea, lavender. See you next year.
Hello and welcome to the Deepdale Podcast, December 2020. How we've got to the end of this year, I don't think anybody really knows. It's been a fascinating one for all the wrong reasons. And we thought rather than dwelling on what has been an interesting year, we would do something a bit different. And we're going to think about music. We sadly haven't been able to host very much at Deepdale this year, but that hasn't stopped Chris getting very excited about lots of great albums. It hasn't stopped us chatting with our friends who are out there in the music world. And we've put together a really nice listing. Chris has come up with his favorite releases of 2020. And then there'll be a little bit of farm chat between me and Nathan. And then we're going to play you a whole bunch of Christmas songs by some of our favourite artists who have played in the past at Deepdale. So, hi, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good. And we're doing this on Zoom, so apologies to anybody who's thinking the sound quality is not amazing. But yeah, it's a slightly odd one. And I'm hiding in the garden room, which is quite frankly freezing at my house. The only company I've got is a Christmas tree because there's builders ripping apart my bathroom. And you're at home, not that far away. So neither of us are at Deepdale at the moment. It's very quiet there. Very quiet there. So we're going to concentrate on positive stuff. We're going to concentrate on great music, which is the important thing. So,
yes.
Tell me, Chris. So, how many albums are we talking about? About 9 or so? With
9 or so, I think, with a few little honourable mentions along the way.
Excellent.
For albums and pieces of music that aren't quite strictly 2020 or albums, in fact, but yeah. So
we're loosely covering this as 2020 releases, but it might be 2020 when we discovered them rather than when they necessarily were released. So it's a slightly vague kind of collection, but it's a great collection. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, all of the ones on the list, the main list, were released in 2020. It's a strange year, I think, for music. It has to be said. We've got some albums on the list that are from American acts who were able to carry on recording and producing and mixing their albums a little bit later than artists over here because of the way that the pandemic moved across the world. So that's one of the themes that happened through this year. And of course, many artists have not been able to record very much, or if they've been recording from home. We've got a few albums on the list which have been sort of home recorded or home produced, and I sat in on a few live streams earlier in the year, first lockdown in particular, when artists were showcasing their new albums, and they were a good way of getting through that early part of lockdown. So we'll focus on a couple of those.
Excellent. So who is up? Are we taking this list? I've pre-seen this list. So are we taking them in order, or would you like to randomly select?
Oh, we can go in a sort of order, I suppose. We can go for the sort of American acts first, the acts that we've got to know over the years. And we love here, Sheila and I, and some Sheila introduced to me, such as the Jayhawks, who are her favourite band, and they brought an album out this year, XOXO, which they've just been going from strength to strength in the last few years. 2 or 3 albums that have come out that have been absolutely fantastic. This last one is more of a collaboration between the whole band rather than songs from their main songwriter, normally Gary Lewis. but he's been out there on Facebook in particular, running live streams through lockdown with his shit show, as he calls it, on a regular basis over from America. We've been getting, and he's been playing a lot of Jayhawks classics, and been fantastic, really good. And we saw them for the first time together. We saw them at Moseley and Moseley Folk Festival in Birmingham, which of course didn't happen this year either. And met the band, and that was a great moment. And so that's a really good album to catch up with. XOXO, it's out, and yeah, superb stuff.
Excellent.
You say you moved around a lot, and these changes do not change you. Treading the dark water, crossing your bridges as they beckon. You say
That was Across My Field by the Jayhawks. So what's next on your list? So that was the Jayhawks XOXO. Who are you going to pick off your list next?
I think another act actually that we saw and discovered for the first time at Moseley. It's a great little folk festival over in Birmingham, really fantastic, and it introduced us to American country star called Courtney Marie Andrews back in 2016, and she just brought out her breakthrough album in the UK, Honest Life, and she's had a new album out this year, Grammy nominated, called Old Flowers, which again we saw early in lockdown, first lockdown. She did a live stream raising funds for her crew because they were unable to work, as have lots of crew, road crew and sound technicians. And so it's important to focus on them. And one of the reasons that people should get out and buy these artists' albums is because it does actually help support not just the artist, but their support crew as well through this. And Old Flowers, it isn't the cheeriest of albums, and I think that's a theme through the year. You know, it's not really been a year for happy music, and it's not the happiest of albums. It deals with a dark period in her life, but she is a wonderful artist, and so that's got to be on our list for 2020.
Yeah, fantastic. I love the fact that you and Sheila have no qualms about introducing me to some amazing music, and we've seen some awesome gigs in previous years, and I'm looking forward to when those return and being able to see some of these guys. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, so, it will be good. Will be good.
No, it will be. It'll be very nice to return. So what's next on your list?
And then I think that the final one from over the pond, I think, is Jason Isbell, he is master songwriter. from Drive-By Truckers originally, but on his own now with his band, the 400 Unit, and his album this year is called Reunions. And he was going to tour this year. We were going to see him, obviously cancelled as well. But a great sort of Americana, country rock songwriter. Difficult to categorise, as so many people are these days. But
that I love now. I love the fact that it's
worth a
hard
listen.
to categorise. I love the fact that bands are kind of crossing genres, crossing musical. I love that cross-pollination of all these things. And you think of some of the acts we've had at Deepdale Festival, Fran and Flora, people like that who it's just so different and unusual, and and it's taking sort of those unusual classical instruments or sort of or even medieval instruments almost, and turning those into sort of fantastic music. And I think that I love that kind of cross-pollination between all these things. It's great.
It is, absolutely. And the albums on this list roll through the genres and the categories. Little Red Kings is on the list with their latest album, The Magic Show Part 1, which has not been out all that long. And they're a band that, I've known them for a long time, from when I first started arranging music. And they've developed over the years. And this album is a real step, I think, in maturity and polish, while retaining the earthiness of their sound and their approach to music. And they've got great depth of blues rock in this album as well. It's really earthy, and it's great, really, really good. And of course, they were due to play at the festival in September, and will hopefully be with us next year when we rerun it. Jason's voice is...
That's not my voice. That's Jason.
No, Jason Wick. Jason Wick. Yeah, leader.
You wouldn't want me singing on the stage. That would there'd be an awful lot of refund demands at that point.
I think his voice is in incredible shape on this album. He's absolutely belting out these songs, and I think the surprising thing for me, perhaps they would not want me to say surprising, the wonderful thing for me is the harmonies. The vocals on this album are tremendous, absolutely tremendous. It's got real depth, and hits. The production is brilliant. Production is really, really good, and they are a Norfolk band that should, I've always said this, but they should be much better known across the country than they are. They really should.
Out over the light, out to the black Irish Sea, and over Douglas and the Tower of Refuge. And you told me that you never you left me that night. Yes, you did. Oh, you left. Those lights, they grew dim. Yes, the mist came on in. I heard they swear they saw you on a Kearney shoreline.
That was the fabulous Weather the Storm by the Little Red Kings.
These albums, they're out there. Okay, you can listen to the stuff online. You can listen to it on Spotify. Absolutely, you can. But the physical albums, you can get the physical album from them, and getting it from them, as with all these other artists, is the best way of supporting them through this.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be pointing everybody in the direction of the places like Bandcamp, where they can actually buy these albums and the artists actually receive, a decent proportion of the money for them, rather than streaming them and they're getting, less than pennies. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that the streaming services get exposure for people, but being in a band, albeit an amateur band myself, the number of times we've been asked to play for exposure is, I've lost count of the number of times that's happened, and it's the biggest load of rubbish going. If you want to support a band, buy their stuff. Simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I think you might have missed a big American band off your list. You've jumped into the Norfolk bands, which is awesome. But you might have missed the Dixie Chicks. As much as we'd like to claim them for Norfolk, I've got a feeling that their background and accents slightly give away that they may not be from Norfolk.
No, that's true. Yeah, Dixie Chicks, Gaslighter, which is highly topical at the moment, as we're about to get rid of the world's largest ever gas lighter, in the shape of the ex-president of the United States, is a real comeback to form for them. Great to see them back with an album. It's not focused on Trump, but it's focused on a more personal situation, and it's a very, very, very direct, very angry, very up record, and it's great. It's typical Dixie Chicks, and we love them.
Then some of my favourite lads lads and girls in the music industry, Das Fenster and the Alibis, who just got this wonderful persona. If anybody's read their website, they're sort of they've created these alter egos for each member of the band and stuff.
Alter egos. What are you talking about? That is them. That is them. Yeah, they're a shining light and darkness in this strange, crazy world that we've been in this year. And their new album, Lucky Charms and Firearms, they couldn't have a big launch gig, and so what there's a 30-minute launch film. Which is really
worth watching.
It is really worth watching. I watched it again last night just to remind myself how fantastic it was, and it's great. And listen to the songs on the new album. We've heard quite a few of them at Deepdale over several different performances as they've sort of brought them to a live audience and developed them. And it really is the flavour of their shows. And themselves as musicians and a band, and they're absolutely cracking. I've got loads of time for them, and if you really do want to cheer yourself up in the current dark times, Das Fenster and the Alibis, Lucky Charms and Firearms is the album to go for. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Great album. Really good fun.
For a reason, I can see you've got a need. We don't ask no questions, we're totally discreet. There's something that you're after that you can't get nowhere else. We'll step inside our fitting room and see what's on the shelf. Come on in, we're gonna help you sing. Roll up, roll up, roll up. Gather round, we're gonna drag you down. Roll up, roll up, roll up. Come on in, we're gonna help you sing. Roll up, roll up, roll up. Gather round, we're gonna drag you down. Roll up, roll up, roll up. any currency will do. But don't use checks or credit cards, they can be traced back to you. You'll agree we're not expensive, and the ride is worth the fare. And if your old lady comes asking, we'll swear you were never here. Come on in, we're gonna help you sing. Roll up, roll up.
That was Roll Up by Das Fenster and the Alibis.
Then we're on to albums from artists who were going to appear for the first time at Deepdale this year, and obviously couldn't, and have both sort of signed up and agreed to come back and see us next year, which is fantastic because they're both absolutely wonderful artists. Kirsty Merrin with her album Our Bright Night, which came out earlier this year, and again was live stream launched out there, and is a beautiful work of art. You know, it's a folk album, but it ranges through a night, picks you up at dusk and takes you through the night with a series of songs and pieces, and then leaves you at dawn the following morning. And it is written largely for piano arrangements. Her voice is fantastic, and the songs themselves just evoke this night of exploring various themes through. It's very English, I think, and it brings to mind for me pieces like Dart by Alice Oswald, poetic work about the River Dart, and sort of One Night in the River Dart. Also, Kitty McFarlane's Namer of Clouds sort of comes to mind in how self-contained it is as a work of art. It's absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
So you quite like that album then?
I do. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and I can already envision her sat in the church where we were going to have a Deepdale Church, playing some of these songs, and the audience would be blown away.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. Such big fingers crossed for an uneventful September, so we can actually host Deepdale Festival. It would be just wonderful.
Courage, sisters, we must depart. A bright night gone, this new day dark. Courage, sisters, we can't abide. The king requires our robes to make a bed for his new bride. Courage, sisters, we have to go. The widow lost, and those who could not reap what they would sow. This sighing chapel, this creaking cot, no more a home for those who have, and those who have not. Come, beloved, we have to go from those above to us below. Come, beloved, we mustn't stay. The poorest shall inherit all the rich have thrown away. Come, beloved, with shaking hands. The promises from high are built on sinking sodden sand.
The beautiful Our Bright Night by Kirsty Merrin.
Martin Simpson who was going to be headlining our Sunday evening legend slot, and he is a legend. He's just one of the best guitarists out there, and he's got a new album out, Home Recordings, which, as said, Sounds was recorded largely at home during lockdown, and he's been putting a lot of stuff out on live stream and continues to do so to keep people cheered and supported with music through this time. And a wonderful album, top 10 folk album chart album. He's multi-award winning, just great guitar playing, great songs, great vocals, and sort of companion pieces. He's got a band that he's in with Nancy Kerr and two other guys, and called the Magpie Arc. And they put out 2 EPs, EP1 and EP2, they call them, and they're more band oriented recordings, and they're brilliant as well. So yeah, Martin Simpson, you shouldn't miss that, and is a lovely lead into hopefully welcoming him to Deepdale next year.
After my mother, my old man is another child that's grown old. If dreams were lightning, thunder were desire, this old house would have burned down a long time ago. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to believe in this living is just a hard way to go. Cowboy, you weren't much to look at, just a free rambling man. But that was a long time, no matter how I tried. The years they just flow by like a broken down dam. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to believe in this living is just a hard way to go.
That was Angel from Montgomery by Martin Simpson.
I love the lineup you managed to pull together for the festival. And I know I discussed some of the acts with you about it, but the stuff that you pull out, and there I am pulling up all this information to build the website and prepare things like the little newspaper we do every day and that sort of stuff. And it's just, I'm like, oh my word, these guys are playing in my barn. This is so cool, and it's it really is. It's fantastic. So
yeah, no, I love doing it. It's a fantastic thing that got into a few years ago, knowing nothing about how to do it, and have had all of these wonderful musicians from Norfolk and beyond happy to come and play, and it's just been the best journey, and the people that we've got to know, Sam Coe, the guys from Little Red Kings, Dougie and Jason, Marina, Florence, the Shackleton trio with Adam Clark, and all these people. They're just so talented, and you really feel for them through this period. You know, we've had it tough. There's no question we've had it tough at Deepdale, but we haven't had it as tough as musicians who are, you know, trying to make their livelihoods and not being able to do it because it's just not safe to be out there. You know, James Mars, who I've known right from the very start, who's now, you know, the Mammal Not Fish guys, Jess Morgan, Tin Hut Troubadours, Lisa Redford, Matt Watson, all of those people that I've known for a very long time now. And, you know, you want to get back hearing their music played live. And hopefully we will do next year. You know, and lots of others that I've, you know, got to know since moving to Deepdale. And, but yeah, so yeah, hopefully.
Of course, Jess created our intro for the Deepdale podcast, but she's had very exciting news because she's got her little baby now, so she's definitely got some stuff to distract her from making music at the moment. That's very cool. So many congratulations to her. So it's fantastic. So I think by the looks of it, that you've got an album of your album of 2020. What are you going for that?
Yeah, and this is an artist that I've sort of highlighted as one for Deepdale in the future, if we can possibly persuade her to come and play. And it's Kate Stables and her nom de plume, or her band is This Is the Kit, and she is just the most individually creative artist, crossing genres. Saw her at Moseley Folk for the first time with her wonderful banjo, and followed her ever since. And her album this year is Off Off On, and again produced in lockdown, but is just wonderful. It's just fantastic. You're never going to get bored of listening to that album. You know, she's got an incredible way of using her voice as an instrument and layering rhythms and chords and notes. It's just fantastic. It moves between folk through pop sensibilities, a little bit of jazz. It just goes all over the place, and she's just the loveliest person as well. Saw her at the Roundhouse in London. She was due to play Norwich Arts Centre this year and early next, and I think that's been rearranged again. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Off, On. This Is the Kit. Brilliant album, and if I can get her to come and play at Deepdale, I will.
So this is an official invite. We'd like This Is the Kit playing at Deepdale Festival in the not too distant future.
That would be amazing. Would be truly amazing.
Excellent. So, I think you might have some honourable mentions. There's a couple of honourable mentions. There's one that got away this year, which I think I can now talk about as we've gone through this year and everyone's rolled over for next year. One that got away this year, who I dearly love to have had play at Deepdale, and hopefully will do in the future, is Catherine Williams. And she's got a winter single out in a collaboration with Carol Ann Duffy, a poet. And that is lovely. It's called Snow Angel. It's been on the Radio 2 Folk Show. It's not an album, it's a single, but you can head off and download that. It's a really gorgeous little Christmas single. And if I can persuade Catherine to come and play at Deepdale, we nearly had her this year, but not quite. So she's one that got away, and an artist that I've followed for years, Mercury Prize winner, just amazing, truly amazing. Excellent. We'll see if we can get a sample of the of Snow Angel to go with our Christmas tunes for the last part of this podcast. That'd be great.
Yeah, really, and our honourable mentions are two bands that we've worked with at Deepdale now a few times, and I've worked with one of them for a long time. The honourable Christmas mention has to go to the Shackleton Trio. They've got their Christmas single out now, available to download by all the usual places, and they're going to retrain as Santa Claus. So that's their Christmas single, They have got a live streaming gig tomorrow, actually, if this podcast is going to come out before
a European-wide one. So they're covering all of those countries that they were supposed to be touring through Scandinavia and Northern Europe and stuff as well. So
that's accessible through Facebook on a ticket donation basis. It's actually free to access, but ticket donation. So please try and donate something to that if you hook into that. Be great to see them playing live again. And then final honourable mention is for a band who really cheered me up tremendously at the start of all of this terrible COVID stuff. They moved heaven and earth to put a live stream together right at the start of lockdown, and the tech worked incredibly well. It was a wonderful evening of music. There was quite a lot of alcohol involved at their end, I think, but it didn't detract from the performances. They were absolutely amazing, absolutely stonking. And their album came out towards the end of last year. Probably didn't get as much of a push as it would have done, because they couldn't get out this year and gig it. But yeah, Man the Lifeboats, honourable mention for services to music in lockdown at the start of this year. Truly wonderful live stream, truly great band, due to come back to us this year for our Beltane Festival that never happened, due to come back to us next year if we get the chance to run something around that time. And their album, When the Time Bell Rings, is great. Absolutely great. It really will cheer you up, although it does have a couple of politically motivated songs which have some very prescient comments, I think, to make about the situation we find ourselves in today, literally today, after what's been going on the last few days. But brilliant band. Best live stream of lockdown for me, hands down. So thanks, guys. Hopefully share a beer with you again soon.
Yeah, they're great fun, and the videos of all of us dancing to them when they were on the stage, and you guys all taking that photo with all the crowd behind was just superb from that gig. So they are welcome.
Great memories.
Anytime in that in the Brick Barn. They absolutely set that place on fire, and it was superb.
Blood on the rails, and the engine fails, and a foul wind blows through Britannia's sails. It's 100-year storm, and there's a meteor swarm, all whipped up by men in uniform. What is the cause of funding these wars, when children are sleeping on hospital floors, and the poor and diseased they're down on their knees? We should be blaming the banks, not the refugees. And as we wait in the harbour for the storm to bow, even the thickest of armor won't save us now. And as we stand here abandoned in a world gone wrong, when the ship goes down and the band play on, this little universe where fear is a curse, and if you close your borders you just make it worse. The whole country's on the brink,
When the Ship Goes Down by Man the Lifeboats.
Well, thank you, Chris. That's a superb lineup. Really fantastic. If you're looking for where to buy all these albums, all the information will be on our blog post on our website and on social media. And we hope that you can buy yourself a Christmas present with some of these or all of these albums. Really worth purchasing and listening to. Remember, support those musicians. They've had a really tough year, and they could do with all of your help. And any of these live streaming gigs, particularly where they're raising funds for their crews and stuff, please do support them. It's fantastic. Well, cheers, man. Happy Christmas to you.
Yeah, and happy Christmas to everyone out there.
I know we'll chat lots, but massive happy Christmas to everybody, all of our wonderful listeners and all our wonderful customers out there. Have a fantastic festive season wherever you end up being and whoever you end up being with. And enjoy the rest of the podcast, particularly the Christmas tunes that will hopefully set you in the right festive spirit. Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Cheers.
Farm Chat with Nathan and Jason.
So hello, lovely man.
Hello.
So Farm Chat is squished between, or is the it's sandwiched between Chris's favourite releases of 2020, music releases of 2020,
right,
and Christmas. Some of our favourite Christmas songs by the lovely artists who come to Deepdale.
Yes.
So it's going to be a very festive, very festive podcast. It sort of feels like we're almost doing a sort of, Six Music radio show where we sort of thing, and we're fitting in, the academically sort of clever bit in the middle with the, with the farm chat. Although they have chosen
I'm so sorry to disappoint you. Oh dear. Boy, did you come to the wrong guy.
Well, I sort of knew what I was aiming for.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah.
So it's that sort of weird time, isn't it? Sort of December, where you kind of this winter time where kind of crops, we can't do a lot to make the crops do much more right now, and we can't put anything more in the ground, can we?
No, it's too late now. I mean, I've been standing in the middle of a field recently going, grow! Yeah. But so we have drilled our first organic crop of winter wheat, and that is poking its little heads up. Hello. So the winter wheat is up and away, and that's only going to be doing stuff very slowly. Chances are it's being grazed off by pink-feet geese as we speak.
Excellent, good, yeah, brilliant. Thanks a lot, geese.
Well, the geese, bless them. I mean, we've got geese and we've got lapwing and we've got curlew hanging around on the farm, and
which is lovely, but
they're all welcome guests. But hopefully, if they can find other stuff to nibble on apart from the wheat,
that would be nice. Yeah, they could eat the mustard, which we don't care about.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I think there's very much a sense of there's all the sort of the preparation that we have to do. So it's too late to stick any other crops in the ground now because the ground's too cold, and anything that we stick in, it's not going to be too happy.
I can speak. It is cold.
It is a bit nippy.
I was just standing up on TSB thinking, if I was a plant right now,
yeah,
I don't want to.
And you'll have seen actually on TSB that we've stuck. So TSB being our biggest field that had potatoes in it until not so long ago, and we stuck a cover crop in there of mustard, which jumps up enthusiastically as you like, way, and the mustard is up and away and is covering the ground and is doing some stuff to sort of bind the soil together, which is really good. We also stuck some vetch into a couple of our new plots, and that's not done much at all.
I have to say, it was very difficult to tell whether there was any vetch at all and not just weeds.
Yeah, there's just a tad in there. The foliage is thinner, so it's difficult to see anyway, the sort of thin little leaves, but it's actually not doing too much, and it's a possibility that we may have to go back over and sort of re-drill the vetch in the spring. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, so it's sort of in betweeny time, but actually We are looking at the woodland that we have on the farm and the management activities that we've got on that, and starting to think about a plan for that. And we've got loads of work to do on our hedgerows in January and February, and we'll have some conservation work days coming up on Wednesdays. Our Wild Wednesdays coming up.
And the first one's 13th of January or something.
Yeah, and we'll be doing some hedge laying, we'll be doing some replanting of the hedgerows, and we'll be doing some coppicing. So there's a mix of different activities. Some of it's going to look quite scary. I mean, basically, coppicing means we're going to cut it down to the ground.
It means it's just an excuse for you to play with your chainsaw.
Yes. There is that. But hopefully it means that we get to rejuvenate the hedgerows that we've got on the farm, and they should, in a few years, they should start to look a lot more bonny.
So the idea is basically you cut them off, just above ground level?
We cut them off to the ground, pretty much, just above ground level, and we sort of try and put in sloping cuts to discourage the water from sort of pooling in the middle of the plant, and that will stimulate the plant to regrow from the base. So what we should end up with is lots of nice new young growth of mainly hawthorn, and where we have gaps in the hedgerows, because we have quite a lot of gaps, we'll be planting in new hawthorn and blackthorn plants, and a few hedgerow trees. And this is all basically, we've got several kilometres, we've got about 30 kilometres of hedgerows around the farm altogether. And we're actually doing about sort of 8 to 10 kilometres worth of replanting, coppicing and laying. So I did a survey a little while ago, and we know all the gaps that we've got, all the bits of hedgerow that are unhealthy.
You've got some very pretty maps, haven't you?
Very pretty maps.
Yeah.
So we have a plan, and there will be plenty of work to do for us to sort of do that. So that's January, February. And then by the time we're getting into sort of February, March, we're thinking about drilling our spring crops. So we'll have barley and beans going in, and we're just working out at the moment an organic variety of spring bean that we can stick in, and some spring barley.
What's the quality name of the one that we're thinking about?
The version of spring bean that we're thinking about sticking in is called LG Cartouche.
I do love the name Cartouche. That's a great name. That's a great name. Yeah,
we got there are some good crop names. Yeah. We'll try sticking in some of the Cartouche, and we'll see. My understanding of like spring beans, what I've been told, I think it was possibly John Porsey down at Shimpling Farm, said beans are a I wish crop, in that depending on how they grow, you either say I wish I hadn't bothered or I wish we'd sown more.
Yeah.
And so we shall see, but it's part of our rotation, and being a legume, then what we have is, apart from having a crop at the end of this which we'll sell, the crop will also have fixed nitrogen in the soil, so it's doing a little bit of fertility building for the next crop that goes into that field, which will be barley. This is the next year is our sort of first year of being fully organic, in terms of going into our conversion and sort of basically bringing the rotation in, and there's
slightly messy, isn't it? Because we're like, where we would normally do sort of winter barley and that sort of stuff, we're still waiting for fields to be returned to us from carrots and all that sort of stuff. So it's a bit of a messy first year, and I think it took you and I a little while to get our heads round the plan that Stephen Briggs and things, because we were like, that's not what we thought we were doing. And then he was like, no, don't be dumb. This is your first year or two where you have to kind of get back into a rotation, and that means that some fields are going to be slightly abnormal in the way that you handle them for the next couple of years.
And we'll have lots of opportunities to play, to sort of modify slightly what we're doing in the future, but it's sort of necessary for us to sort of stick to a plan for the time being. And we have a plan kicking in now for the farm, which we're already on, and we have our pre-conversion inspection coming up next week, so we'll be sort of answering lots of questions, and basically
that's the Organic Farmers and Growers.
So our certification body, we've got sort of two of the best known certification bodies in the UK. A lot of people will have heard of the Soil Association, and there is the other big certification body is Organic Farmers and Growers, and we've gone with OF&G, and we've had a really, really helpful certification officer who she has answered
a lot of questions.
She has answered 1,000,001 of my stupid questions, and they've been very sort of helpful at basically guiding us through the process so far. And, essentially this conversion process takes 2 years until we are fully organic. We are, as of now, we're, what you could call in conversion organic. So we're in betweenies. But, this is all about getting us, down the route of, all the sprays, all the chemicals, all that stuff's gone off the farm already. We've gone cold turkey. We are fully, we're fully committed.
It feels really nice, I really like it. I love the fact that I'm not staring at huge bags of fertilizer and huge bags of nitrogen and stuff, and it just feels freeing.
Yeah.
Granted, we haven't actually grown anything yet which we can harvest this side of that, but that's all to be thinking. But then let's face it, we've had fields where we've put everything you could possibly think of putting on those fields, and we've still ended up having to effectively mow them because there's nothing worth harvesting on them. So, if we do that with an organic crop, at least we haven't put half of the chemical world onto those fields to get nothing.
Absolutely.
It feels very different to how it did.
The practices that we're adopting now hopefully mean that our aim is very much to we still want good crops out of these fields. We still want the fields to be productive, but as a result of doing things the way that we're moving towards doing them, regardless of what happens, it will be better for wildlife because most of the farm is now basically a margin for wildlife. It will be better for the soil, and hopefully we'll see the results in more earthworm activity and higher levels of organic matter in the soil and all the stuff we've talked about previously. More honey, yeah. So our lovely, friendly local beekeeper Dominic Edmonds, I've basically said to him, we will need more bees because we are going to be,
He's getting quite excited about the idea.
Yeah,
actually.
we'll be providing massively more for pollinators on the farm. Next year's going to be. I mean, this year has been insane in terms of all the changes that have happened and the sort of the decisions that have been taken, to sort of really change the direction of this farm. And next year is when we're fully getting into it. And I'm stoked.
Well, it's lovely to chat with you, man.
You too.
Have a fantastic Christmas.
And you.
And we look forward to enjoying more chats in 2021, which A, is going to be a better year. I'm just determined it is going to be a better year.
Yes.
And B, is going to be fantastic because we're going to be going full bore into organic and our countryside stewardship scheme, which is going to be fantastic. So
bring it on.
Nice to chat with you, man. Have a great Christmas. Cheers. Well, thanks for listening to the Deepdale Podcast, December 2020, our Christmas edition. We hope you have survived the weirdness of 2020 and that 2021 brings you and all of us a better year. I'm not going to interrupt the Christmas tunes. There's some wonderful samples of some fabulous songs. So we'll say goodbye and happy Christmas to you all, and hopefully a much happier new year. And I will leave you with a whole bunch of tunes that include a lovely little intro from Little Red Kings, I Believe in Father Christmas by Lisa Redford, Gonna Retrain as Santa Claus by the Shackleton Trio, Whiskey for Christmas by Man the Lifeboats, Snow Angel by Catherine Williams and Carol Ann Duffy, The Winter Wind by Marina Florence, Every Christmas by Dusky Sunday, Christmas at Home by Fred's House, I'll Be Home for Christmas by Tilly Moses, and Ye Mariners All by Rattlebox. Have a fantastic Christmas. Keep well, keep sane, and we'll hope to see you all in 2021. Thanks for listening.
Yo, where my sleigh bells at? I said sleigh bells! Sleigh bells!
Merry Christmas
Sleigh bells!
from Little Red Kings.
More sleigh bells! It's Christmas! Sleigh bells!
Merry Christmas.
There's too much sleigh bells!
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Too much sleigh bells!
Merry Christmas from Little Red Kings.
They said there'll be snow at Christmas. They said there'll be peace on earth. But instead it just kept on raining, a veil of tears for the virgin birth. I remember one Christmas morning, the winter's light and a distant choir, and the peal of a bell and that Christmas tree smell, and eyes full of tinsel and fire. They sold me a dream of Christmas. They sold me a silent night. They sold me a fairy story till I believed in the Israelite. And I believed in Father Christmas. I looked to the sky with excited eyes. Then I woke with a yawn in the first light of dawn. I saw him and through his disguise I wish you a hopeful Christmas. I wish you a brave new year.
Christmas time is here. It once was my favourite time of year. Friends, family, turkey, wine and beer. Pigs in blankets, JML slankets, arguments and Christmas cheer. But this year I'm gonna be trained, gonna be trained, gonna be trained as Santa Claus. I'm gonna be trained, gonna be trained, gonna be trained as Santa Claus. I once played music, now I can't use it. Gonna be trained as Santa Claus. I'll drink whiskey and I'll eat mince pies, so it really should come as no surprise when you crane your neck and you squint your eyes. Find me stuck up your chimney, please come and help me. Should have retrained as a chimney sweep. So I'm gonna be trained, gonna be trained, gonna be trained as a chimney sweep. I once played music, now I can't use it. Gonna be trained as a chimney sweep. I once played music, now I can't use it. Gonna be trained as Santa Claus. I scramble with my hands and feet. I wriggle once, then plan my retreat. My belt is stuck down concert and muck. I hear a rumble, the chimney stack crumbles. Should have retrained in construction. So I'm gonna be trained, gonna be trained, gonna be trained in construction. I once played music, now I can't use it. Gonna be trained in construction.
Well, that was a ramshackle mash-up palaver, not done by halves or quarters or thirds. We stood in the canal singing Frankie Sinatra, and nobody knew the words. And there was a bar with gods on the ceiling and flagons of liquor wherever it were. We drank to extinguish all the bad feelings. Sat in Peter O'Toole's old chair. Sat in Peter O'Toole's old chair. So kiss me right here where everybody can see us. We're starting
mother calling from the house of cooking smells and light, in the garden where the snow all day had fallen, where I waited for that Christmas night. And the wheelbarrow looked like a manger, and the bushes looked like kneeling kings. My arms outstretched were wings as I let go, and I fell and made an angel in the snow. Snow angel, the snow angel, snow my father calling from the house of love and candlelight, and in the garden where the snow all day had fallen, where I waited for that Christmas night. And the garden looked like a stable, and an aeroplane looked like a star. My arms were outstretched as I let go, and I fell and made an angel in the snow. Snow angel, snow from the fireplace as it battles off the cold. The snow has powdered all the streets, and the sun's a pale gold in the sky. Sitting round in our dressing gowns, drinking cups of English tea, reading books in silence, 'cause there's nothing good to watch on TV. Remember it forever, this moment of calm in a cold winter storm. Oh, I'll remember it like every Christmas I've remembered before. Da-da-da-dum, 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 da-da-da-dum. I'd barely make it through the night, knowing wake up in the morning and I'd run right down the stairs to the tree. Stare at all of the presents, trying to guess which ones were mine, as the mince pies in the oven start to complement the scent of the pine. And I'll remember it forever, the excitement I felt on that cold.
Got too many bags to get on the train. The leaves on the track might delay us again. I'm already late, it's always the same. Each Christmas when I go home.
Or too many things, but it's never enough.
You really shouldn't have, you spent far too much. And I swear that this year we'll stay in touch, at least over the phone. Snow don't have to fall, bells don't need to ring. Who knows what this year will bring? Time passes so fast, so raise up your glass, for at least we've got Christmas at home. The kids are all dressed and so full of cheer. The aunties and uncles are already here, and we'll sing the same songs that we do every year. Each Christmas when I am home.
All of these memories, one little household.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams.
Ye mariners all as you pass by, call in and drink if you are dry. Come spend, my lads, your money brisk, and pop your nose in a jug of this. Oh, mariners all, if you've half a crown, you're welcome all for to sit down. Come spend, my lads, your money brisk, and pop your nose in a jug of this. Oh, tipplers all as you pass by, come in and drink if you are dry. Come in and drink, think not amiss, and pop your nose in a jug of this. Oh, now I'm old and can scarcely crawl. I've an old grey beard and a head that's bald. Crown my desire and fulfill my bliss. A pretty young girl and a jug of this. Oh, when I'm in my grave and dead, and all my sorrows have passed and fled, transform me then into a fish, and let me swim in a jug of this.